Hey y'all, today I felt like playing with some decals, and of course Renee had exactly what I wanted over at the Spirit Art Designs website. So I've got my color already applied, and let's get into what I used and how I applied these. I'm also going to show you how to deal with a fail because I'm a person and I mess up too. Let's get into it. Spoiler alert, this is the final look. Colors used are Amber's Nail Corner, formerly 3BG Dips. Alright y'all, I'm using these Waterslide decals from Spirit Art Designs, which is my favorite brand. I do have a discount code for them. These are some tiny little detail scissors and some tweezers. This silicone tool is from Dollar Tree. A jelly stamper also works excellent. I just don't have one. This is a silicone cuticle pusher. Then I have my little dish of water and my dip liquid base. So the first thing you want to do is pick out what image you want and then cut as closely as you can to that image. It really helps not to have a bunch of excess overhang to have to deal with in the long run. So you want to get as close as you can, which is what you see me doing here, out of focus. Now once I have that cut out to my liking, I kind of play with placement, figure out where exactly I'm going to want it, because once you put the dip base on your finger, you don't have a lot of time to play with that. So I'm going to dip it in the water. I'm going to lay it image side down on my silicone tool. I'm going to wait a couple seconds and then I'm going to just slide that backing right off. I go in with a lint-free wipe to get rid of any excess moisture that might stop it from adhering to the nail. Then I kind of go in and play with that placement again. And here is where I ultimately effed up this application. So sometimes I go in with tweezers and just place it with tweezers, right? So that's what I decided to do here. That was a problem today. Today that did not work out for me. So I ended up hating this placement, having to remove and redo it, but that's perfect because I'm about to show you how to handle when you do a decal and you hate it because you messed up. Not a big deal. Try and try again. So currently I'm smoothing it down with my silicone cuticle pusher, getting rid of all the bumps and bubbles and all that. This was a fruitless effort because I do remove this entire decal later, but let's just go along with the process, shall we? All right, on to the next one, where I have learned my lesson. Doing the same thing, dipping it in the water and then setting it down image side down on my silicone stamper. Go in after a couple seconds and remove the backing, blot off any excess water. Then I'm going to go in with my dip base. I kind of cover more of the nail than I think I'm going to need covered because it doesn't hurt anything and I would rather make sure I have enough adhesion on the entire decal. So now I'm doing what I should have done and I'm pressing it in with the silicone tool. Then I'm going in and smoothing it out with my little silicone cuticle pusher. This application was flawless. This application was wonderful. Sometimes I'm just me and I'm gonna pick up those tweezers and try to do it differently. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. And that's gonna be okay. Moving on to the third and final decal. Again, having learned my lesson on the first, I'm gonna use the silicone tool. The application's gonna come out flawless. It's gonna be wonderful. So I'm going in with my dip base. Again, I cover more than I think I'm gonna need. Then I just press it on there lightly and kind of smooth it out. This one didn't really even need any smoothing because it's pretty small and the silicone tool did most of the work for me. That was excellent. Now it's time to clear cap these. You want to do a clear encapsulation over decals when you're using dip liquid specifically to make sure they have some protection so that when you file and buff, everything's good. And also so that after you top coat, you don't have decals getting caught on anything. People have asked me if I like this little clear dip brush tool. No, I don't. This thing sucks. It gets clogged up all the time. I'm just using the last of what's in it and then I'm probably going to toss this out. In case you're wondering what clear I'm using, it is Clearly Uninterested by Sassy Mouth Dip Powder. Easily the best clear I've ever tried. I just do one coat of clear encapsulation. I find I typically don't need any more than that, and I don't want any more than that because I don't want a super thick nail. So I just do one layer of dip liquid base, one layer of clear dip powder, and then I am good to go, ready to activate and buff if necessary. Always cleaning up the cuticle line. Yes, even with clear, I do not want acrylic all over my skin. All right, dusting it off and realizing and then telling you all that I hate the way I did this decal and I have got to take it off immediately. So I'm grabbing my file on the coarse side and I'm just filing it right off. No big deal. Takes about 2 seconds to file that decal right off your nail. I have cut out a new one. I'm going through the process again, except this time I'm going to do it correctly. This time I'm going to use my silicone tool. I'm going to place it exactly where I want it and it's going to give me such a smooth application. The difference was phenomenal. Like, boom, placed, smooth it out a little bit, and we're good to go. Now it looks great. Now I love it. And now I'm going to go ahead and clear coat it because it's done. See how easy it is to deal with that mistake though? So easy. File it right off. Be totally done, ready to do a new one. I love that. That's part of the reason I love decals much more than I love trying to paint designs, because I am not an artist and I don't want to spend hours trying to be an artist. I have shaky hands and limited amounts of talent, which is why I have a drawer full of Waterslide decals. Amen. Yes, I always do the tap, tap, tap to make sure everything's smooth on top. No, I don't know if it makes a difference. I'm going to continue to do it though. It makes a difference to me. Always brush the effing hell out of clear because you don't want it to be cloudy. Like, brush it until you think it's too brushed, like for a long time. So I got my activator on. Now I'm just going to go in and make sure that my shape is how I want it and my cuticle lines are clean after I did that layer of encapsulation. Just going to make sure everything is smooth on top and ready for a good old shiny top coat. Once I file and buff, I go in with a lint-free wipe with alcohol on it just to make sure there's no residue left over before I go in with my top coat. That way I'm not contaminating and I'm not getting like file and buff residue all up in the top coat either. So from here, it's just typical top coat application. I go in with one thin layer, then 2 to 3 minutes later, I go in with a second thin layer, and then it is done. And of course, after any nail application, you should use cuticle oil. You should be using cuticle oil every freaking day. I'm using the Creep It Cozy Cuticle Oil by 2 Chicks 1 Dip. She designed it for me and I am in love. I will put my discount code in the description below so that you can check it out as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye!